Hey, would you look at that? It's Metroid Prime 2. I bet you're all completely shocked. Woohoo! Anyways, what's happening, guys? This is Rob. Welcome back to Rule of Two Review. And boy, oh boy, Nintendo, you had to do it, didn't you? You just had to do it. They've announced a Super NES Classic Mini Edition, freaking, oh my god, going to be impossible to find, but we all want the stupid thing anyways. So yeah, we all already know this news. It was huge news this morning on Twitter and Facebook and all over the internet and IGN that Nintendo did reveal that officially the rumors were true and a Super Nintendo Classic Mini. I never know what to call it, Classic or Mini. I know it's Classic Edition is branded on the boxes for these things, but I always want to add the Mini into it for some reason. I don't know why, my brain just wants to do that. But yeah, so it's happening. It's totally a thing that a lot of people suspected. Actual rumors started to come out in the last month that said it is happening beyond just guessing. Apparently some people knew that this was going to happen. And, you know, it's tricky because just like with the NES Mini, it's like, oh, hey, that's a really great thing. I can't wait to get it. But then we all learned it was a complete debacle to even try to find one of the stupid things. This video is also tricky for me because it might be one of the few instances where, even though I hate to do this, I might even just post two videos in the same day. This morning I posted the video that I recorded yesterday, a video I'm really proud of, a really long conversation about the current state of Nintendo and the Switch, and something that felt pretty important for me to just kind of share my opinions on. And I'm really glad that I got it out, and it seems to be doing well so far. People are definitely watching it and overall responding to it well. And I usually don't like to put two videos out in one day because you always want one of your videos to have time to breathe. But this is something that I probably should just put up later today, honestly, because it's this big hot thing, and, you know, everyone's already been, you know, somehow people get videos up within like 30 minutes of news breaking. I don't know how they do that. My computer's just really slow. And, you know, I don't work today, so I have the time to record this. I'll probably just post it. So if you're lucky, you get a double dose of Rule of Two Review today, and you get two videos, which I really try to never do. That being said, furthering this whole topic about the SNES Mini, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, guys, like, it's cool. I want it. I have to want it, right? I mean, it's a Super Nintendo Classic, and it's got an amazing collection of games. I think when the NES came out and everyone was really excited for it and said, wow, that's an amazing deal for 60 bucks, these 30 great games, it's classic and it's mini and you just plug it right in and you go. Like, that was great. And then when we started to think about, oh, maybe a Super Nintendo Mini could come, suddenly you start to realize when you put together your wish list of games you want on that Super Nintendo Mini, it became really exciting because you kind of realize, wow, there's actually way better games to pick from on the Super Nintendo, which we all kind of know. I mean, it's a better console with a better lineup. That was always the case even when the systems were out. So really quickly, let me just hurt my brain and try to see how quickly I can read off the list of confirmed games we have right now. 21 games in total. There's a reason, of course, for 21, which we'll get to in a minute. And the games are, according to a list on IGN, they are officially Contra 3, Donkey Kong Country, Earthbound, Final Fantasy III, F-Zero, Kirby Superstar, Kirby's Dream Course, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, Mega Man X, Secret of Mana, StarFox, StarFox MF Flippin' 2, oh my freaking god, Street Fighter 2 Turbo Hyper Fighting, Super Castlevania 4, really awesome that that's there, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, super awesome that that's there, Super Mario Kart, Super Mario RPG, Super Mario World, Super Metroid, oh yeah, got some Super Metroid, Super Punch-Out, and Yoshi's Island. So that's the list so far. Don't know if it's going to be updated sooner or if Nintendo's planning on adding games to it, but I doubt it because they've basically released the info, confirmed it does exist. It's got 21 games, September 29th, for $79.99. So I feel like nothing else is going to be probably added to it. So some of the notable things about this are the price, because a lot of people get, and this was my exact guess as well, a lot of people thought that if they did this, it would be $99.99, $100, and I think that that would have been totally something that people would buy, but they've actually only, you know, they're only selling it for 80 bucks. That's quite nice. $79.99. It's only 20 bucks more than the NES Mini, and I think that that's really fantastic. Also, this is coming with two controllers as opposed to one, so it's actually an incredibly good value. But now let me get into the other main points I wanted to touch on with this video. With the Super Nintendo Classic now announced, coming out in the next couple of months, just 2 weeks after Metroid Samus Returns, by the way, so Nintendo is preparing to make a killing this year on top of all the Switch games that are coming out with Super Mario Odyssey and Splatoon 2 and stuff, and Fire Emblem. I mean, they are going to be just rolling in dough like the Wii days, honestly, after this Christmas. It's going to be really, really crazy. You know, and all the Switches they'll sell, of course, as well. So, you know, looking at what's happening with this and the fact that they're announcing it, I think that it could potentially either show Nintendo is finally listening and doing very smart business things that are pro-gamer and pro-consumer, or it could expose Nintendo's true plans and true business model and kind of where they're going with some things. And let me explain. With the NES Classic, we know that that thing, as I already alluded to, was a complete freaking chaotic disaster, because it's like they either planned to have crazy amounts of shortages and wanted people fighting in the streets for these, or they somehow, to the absolute bewilderment of all of us, had no freaking clue and were completely blindsided by how successful and popular that thing was. And that's basically the claim that they've made publicly, and that's fine. I don't really know that I buy that, but obviously the PR spin was like, well, it was only a temporary thing and we didn't know it would be so popular, and sorry, it's just gone now. But now, here we are a year later with a Super Nintendo Classic coming out. You better believe that there is absolutely zero, and I mean none, like -0 possibility that we should believe or allow for Nintendo to be surprised again. If this thing comes out and has a shortage of supply and no one can find them and Nintendo is not stocking stores, then seriously, they are in a lot of trouble. In a lot of trouble as far as the perception. Like, we should absolutely not allow for Nintendo to get away with that again, because they don't have an excuse of, like, we didn't know, we didn't understand, we were surprised. Now, one way that they could kind of fix this situation a little bit, and this is something I said back in the NES Classic days as well, is if they branded this thing as something that is supposed to be limited, is supposed to be short supply, is supposed to be a collector's edition that only has like a special holiday run or a special 3 or 4 month run or whatever. Get it while you can, get it while supplies are in stock or whatever. If they market it that way and if they branded it that way, which to be fair, the box doesn't say that, you can see that here, it doesn't say freaking limited edition anywhere, which would be very smart for them. So if they did that, it's a different story. It's like, oh, okay, limited editions and special editions are supposed to be hard to find. They're supposed to be short supply. That's what makes them limited or special or unique. But if Nintendo continues with their current marketing based on everything they released today and they just put this thing out into the wild like it's just a regular thing to go and buy, they have zero excuse to make this thing hard to find. They should have supplies everywhere. They should be totally prepared. They should be manufacturing these things on the freaking moon if they need to get them out into stores. None of us should struggle to pick one of these up. And also, a small aside to this is they better freaking not have 3-foot cables on these controllers. I mean, you know, full disclosure, I never could find an NES Mini. I didn't look that hard. Maybe the first day or two I was like, hey, like, are they here? No? Okay, bye. And then I gave up. I realized what was happening and I was like, I don't need this. This is just dumb. I'm not going to go through this effort to spend $60. So I didn't really get to experience, like, the problems of the short cord, but I can totally get it. I mean, I can measure 3 feet from my 2 TVs I might hook it up to, and it would be a disaster to try to play that thing with just a 3-foot cord. It's absolutely stupid. And so, again, not only do they need to rectify the supply problem coming into the SNES Mini, they also need to rectify the cable problem. It's amazing that they're releasing this thing at all. It's amazing that they're putting 2 controllers in the box. Fantastic news, very smart move, Nintendo. Thank you for that. However, if you make these things 3 freaking feet long, I'm gonna come over to your headquarters, which I live only a couple of hours from, and I'm gonna kick you in the nuts, because that would be the stupidest thing ever. So anyway, let me bring it down a little bit, because I'm not actually, like, heated over this thing, but when I start talking about these 2 things, you know, Nintendo maybe having a short supply and Nintendo maybe having short cords on these controllers, I guess I get a little elevated because I think about it happening again, and I think we have to prepare ourselves for the possibility that Nintendo does make these 2 mistakes again, and it just would blow my mind if it happened, because the logic is absolutely not there for them to release these things like a normal product and not label them limited, like I said, and then have these things hard to find. Like, I can't deal with another stupid Christmas shortage of these, you know, Nintendo Classic Edition mini systems that no one can find, and this time Nintendo should already have learned that people are going to want these. So, and I want one. I mean, I'm not even talking about the fun stuff here, you guys. Oh my gosh, like, the games lineup is so fantastic. Super Castlevania and Super Ghouls and Ghosts make me so happy to see. And of course, the big one, Star Fox 2. I want that game in my life, and an official release from Nintendo. I don't want to download some weird ROM hack emulation thing on my computer. I don't even know how to do that crap, and I don't want to put files on my computer that I don't know. That's just not, that's nothing I've ever explored in my life, and I have no interest in it. I want stuff that's an official release, whether it was something on the Virtual Console, whether they just, like, you know, made a limited run of actual Super Nintendo carts, or whether they do something like they are doing with the NES Classic and just throwing it there. Like, that's amazing that whatever legal mumbo-jumbo was holding that game back, suddenly it's available and Nintendo can release it to the world, and on an amazing product that's only 80 bucks. Like, it's very, very exciting, and it's literally the only reason I'm going to go out of my way to try to pick one of these things up, because I am a huge StarFox fan. I've liked, literally, y'all can crucify me if you want for this, I've liked every StarFox game. That includes Star Fox Adventures, and that includes Star Fox Zero. Y'all can hate if you want to hate. I don't care. I like those games, and through that, I really have always been curious about Star Fox 2. I wish that it came out back in the 16-bit era, because the first Star Fox was amazing. Like, I couldn't get over how much I loved that game. I was like, whoa, look at these weird 3D polygons. This is the best graphics I'd ever seen. And then the sequel, I would have loved to have played, and, you know, sadly never came out. But that's okay, because we ended up getting one of the best games ever made with Star Fox 64 a couple of years later. So anywho, I'm going to wrap this up, because I just could probably keep going on this topic, and it's crazy. I mean, at the end of the day, I'll leave you with the positivity here, because I think this is really cool, and it is very exciting, because I want to believe, I want to believe, Nintendo, I want to believe you won't screw this up like you did with the NES Mini. And like I said, that could come in two forms, man. Either make so many that people don't struggle to find them, or brand this thing as a limited special edition that's supposed to be in short supply and supposed to be hard to find. Obviously, I'd rather have the first option, because I just want to buy one and I want everyone else to be able to buy one. But I would give them a pass if they market it properly and explain why they're so hard to find. Like, that's the huge thing that they messed up with the NES Mini. So, you know, this is a cool product, you guys. It's 80 bucks, 21 games, Star Fox 2, all these other great Super Nintendo games, 2 controllers. I mean, there's definitely more good than bad right now, because we don't yet know how the sales situation is going to play out. So, you know, I'm just gonna ride, you know, the little bit of positivity I can take away from this into the release in September, and just see how it all goes, man. Either people are going to be, you know, shooting each other in the streets for it, or it's going to be just happy fun times. Nintendo released this great product, and everyone's buying them, and everyone's loving them. So I guess we will just have to see come September 29th. So, what do you guys think about this, man? The Super Nintendo Mini, Star Fox, all these great games, 2 controllers. Are they going to be hard to find? Are the cords going to be short or long? Who even knows what's going to happen? Tell me your thoughts. Share your opinions on this below, guys. Thanks as always for tuning in. Maybe if you're lucky, you got a double dose of Rule of 2 Review, and you got 2 videos in one day. This is Rob of Rule of 2 Review, and I will catch you guys next time on another video.